What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be covering everything Warzone 2 and what we know so far. First category we're going to start off with is the new zones and the map. The new map is called Al-Mazrah. It's the biggest map, way bigger than Caldera or Verdansk. This map was based off of Verdansk. It's got mountains up in the back with like trees and stuff, sort of like what Verdansk had, but it takes some aspects of Caldera, sort of like the Observatory and Peak are very similar, but except Peak is way bigger. Observatory is quite small on the map, so that's quite good. The map is a lot flatter, sort of like what Verdansk was. It's not large rolling hills like Caldera, and so that's good. One of the big main focus points of the map was water and transport around the map. So they want to really lean into some vehicles. So the new water vehicles, the new water mechanics, swimming and stuff that we'll get into later, will be a big thing. But so there's a lot of large rivers that you can use your boats on. But vehicles will be quite good because there is no balloons. If you notice nowadays on Caldera, Rebirth, and Fortune's Keep, there's balloons everywhere you go up. You can basically go anywhere on the map easily. Well, now you have to take a vehicle, which there's a lot of. I think there's like 10 something vehicles with multiple helicopters and tanks and dune buggies and stuff like that. So that'll be quite interesting to see. But now let's get into the new types of zones. So zones will be, or like sandstorm. It's not gas anymore. It will be a sandstorm. Comes in like normal. So normally you, like every other battle royale game ever, it will have a big circle, but then there's this chance each game for it to go into something they call cellular zone. This splits the zone up into 2, 3, or 4 parts, and it just makes like mini royales across the map, and then they'll eventually merge together, which can make some really interesting end circles and end plays. So that'll be quite interesting to see, and I would love to see how this will affect gameplay, and I'll love to see it firsthand when the game comes out. Now let's get into vehicles. There's a lot of new vehicles like the no top. There's the hatchback. Then there's some armored vehicles, one with a turret on top, one without a turret on top, which would be quite interesting. Then there's also the new boats in the game. So this is just like the armored boat. It's got some turrets on it. And then there's also a small little dinghy, which is exactly what it says, it's just a dinghy. Then the next vehicle is the heavy helicopter. It can have your entire team inside of it, but except you can actually walk around inside of it and shoot out the back, which is quite interesting. There's also the normal helicopter that we've seen in previous, or in the Warzone right now. There's the small helicopter. They also added tanks. So this is the medium tank. It's medium size, controlled I think your entire team, and it's got some turrets on it. And then there's also now a small tank. So this is exactly what it is. It can only hold a few people, but it's small. It's got a small gun on top of it. It's just a little bit more maneuverable. And then there's, of course, that big, heavy tank. We're going to hold your entire team with a massive gun to shoot stuff out of the sky. It'll be awesome. And then, of course, there's the replacement for the Bertha. There's like your transport truck. And then finally, there is the SUV, which we've seen before in the previous Warzone game. There's also the TAC Rover, which we've seen before in the previous game. And then, last but not least, the ATV. Of course, it's in every Call of Duty game you need the ATV. The next category is, of course, weapons and blueprints. So let's start off with blueprints. Blueprints will be a bit different now. If you notice, the cosmetics will apply to all attachments of the weapon. When before, you took off the stock and then almost the entire cosmetic will be gone on a blueprint. This changed that and allows you to apply it to all attachments. I don't know if all blueprints will be out like this, but from what we know, this is what the new blueprints will be like. Let's get into the new gunsmith, which is awesome. It's a bit more advanced than the old gunsmith. Most of it's the same, like your weapon leveling and your attachments, all that stuff, but they added this thing called a receiver. What a receiver is, it allows you to change the style of gun. For example, this is the M4A1. Change the receiver now to M16. A lot of your attachments from that gun will carry over. So you max out the M4A1, you get all the attachments for it. Let's say I want the Commando foregrip. The Commando foregrip is on the M4A1. You switch to M16, some of your attachments will disappear, but you can also keep some of them from your previous gun that you have leveled up. Like the Commando foregrip, it's a universal attachment because it goes onto a rail, like your optic or your tac laser. Those are universal attachments. So this just makes it a bit easier to level up guns, because if you get a gun that you haven't leveled up before, but you can put some attachments on it just to make it a bit better right off the start. Another example would be the AK-47. You max that out, you get, like, let's say your Merc foregrip or something, that faster ADS speed, and then you change the receiver to the AK-74U receiver, Now the AK-47 is an SMG, but you keep some of the universal attachments, and that will carry over to the AK-47ZU. But some stuff like the muzzle or the barrel, which is individual to those weapons, you have to level up to unlock. So leveling up each individual weapon is still important, so you can get your barrels, your ammunition, your muzzles. I think maybe even stocks. Perks I think are universal, so your perk is good. I don't know about grips yet. I don't know if grips are universal or if they're individual. Some stuff that I'll know next weekend when I get full access to the beta. Because I'm a PC player, of course, so PlayStation players have access right now, but a little bit down the line I'll have access, so that'll be great to see. And let's start to get into the next category, water physics. One of the things that the developers were most proud of is the new water physics. So you can only see so far underwater. You can go up and down, you can float on top, whatever you want in the water, but it's a bit murky, so you can't see very far. But one of the big things is that you can shoot pistols underwater. But, for example, you can't shoot your primary weapon, if that makes sense. So, some water's clearer than others, but you can shoot your pistol at a greatly reduced damage and greatly reduced bullet velocity. But you can shoot bullets underwater, only from a pistol, though. So, this can create some very interesting gunfights, and also almost like implies that you should be right instead of doing overkill every time. Maybe you should put like an RPG on from all the vehicles, or maybe you should put a pistol on so you can fight underwater. And on the theme of movement, let's get into some of the new movement mechanics. They got rid of slide canceling, thank goodness. But they kept bunny hopping. You can still slide, but you just can't slide cancel. But one of the big things they added was the dolphin dive or belly flop. We don't know what we're calling it yet. But if you're tactical sprinting and then you press crouch, you will dive like a pro in midair. And then you can dive out windows, you can dive at somebody. You can also, while midair dive, you can turn around and shoot, sort of like what you see in the picture on the left. Which will be quite interesting to see what the new movement meta will be, or like what will be the new camera breaker, and how will all the streamers implement this new movement mechanic. I want to see some epic trick shots where someone jumps or dives off a skyscraper, pulls a 360 and shoots sort of like quick scope or no scope at someone out there or something. Some insane trick shot with this dive will be there, and it will be awesome. I also want to see and experience firsthand this new movement. But let's get into the next category. The Gulag has been a thing in Warzone, and it's been a staple of Warzone ever since the game came out. But the new one will be a 2v2 Gulag, something we've never seen before. Everyone starts with no weapons, and then when you spawn in, you'll be with some random partner, and you have to go and you have to pick up weapons off the ground and then fight the other team in 2v2. So there'll be some epic Gulag clutches where they're gonna 1v2, or someone's gonna pull like an inside grenade play, something like that. But in the middle of the Gulag, there's an AI called the Keymaster. It's got buffed health, and it's quite hard to kill, but you can kill it, and it drops a key. And if you get the key and you unlock the door to the Gulag, then both teams get out safely. And because there's the new proximity chat, it'll be quite interesting to see if players team in the Gulag to try to defeat the Keymaster so that both teams get out, or if it'll just be a free-for-all fight to the death like it's always has been. Sorry, I can't talk. But this new Gulag also looks quite interesting. It's nothing we've seen. There's some elevation to it which we don't see very much in the Gulag. There's like higher up steps, which we've never actually seen in Gulag. It's a bigger Gulag because it is a 2v2, so it's a lot larger. But there's some spots where I can see some epic camera breaks, and I want to see some epic clutches in the 2v2s. But let's get into the next category. One of the biggest questions people have had is, why do people have some purple plates, and why do some people have blue plates? The difference is if they've got a 3-plate armor satchel. So if you can see, some people can only have 2 plates on them, and when you do there's purple, they can have 3 plates. So when everyone drops in, they've got blue plates. That means you can only carry 2 plates on your person, or like have 2 plates equipped on you to give you extra health. If you find a 3-plate armor satchel or 3-plate armor vest, then it allows you to put 3 plates in, and it's now purple, which gives your teammates a visual cue showing that you've got a 3-plate armor vest, and you can equip that extra plate for the extra health. The 3-plate armor vest takes up a backpack slot, which I'll get into after, what backpacks do. It's one of my most favorite things about the new game. But it just gives you a bit of a visual cue. It takes up a backpack slot, which is quite valuable, but it allows you to have actual physical more health than other people. which will be quite interesting. From my understanding, if someone has a 3-plate armor vest and you shoot them, it does not show if they've got a 3-plate armor vest, because it will just see the blue breaking symbol, like we've always had before. But let's get into the next category, my personal favorite, backpacks and the new looting system. So backpacks is something that I think people spawn with, but you can also pick up off the ground. I don't know. But there's the bottom, they call it your loadout or your hot bar, which I call it. And the top you have your backpack. So the bottom loadout section is something that we've always had in current Warzone. So you can have your 2 weapons, you have your tactical and lethal, and then you have a field upgrade and your plates. Plates can only stack up to 3, but your backpack you can keep more plates and they can stack up to 3. You've got 6 spots in your backpack, so cash takes up a spot. Extra plates will take up a spot. Armor satchel will take up a spot. Extra ammo and field upgrades and tactical lethals all take up spots in your backpack. What this allows you to do, if you look on the bottom in your loadout, you can see that there's a number of ammo you have for that gun, but up at the top in your backpack it also shows your extra ammo, so you can store more than 210 AR. You can have extra ammo in your backpack. So when you run out, you can drag and drop the ammo back into your AR, I think, and then you'll add more ammo to that gun. So you don't always need to have ammo in your backpack, but it's almost encouraged that you do, because sometimes you can run out of ammo quite quick. It will be quite good for the LMGs that take a lot of ammo. Tacticals and lethals will be also quite interesting to see. Like if I can have 5 stims or 6 stims on me, it'll be awesome for gas plays, or if I'm camping, or if someone's camping. You can have like extra claymores or extra stuff like that, or you can have fuel upgrades. You can see he's got a munitions box in his backpack. You can hold extra cash, extra plates. I can have like 9 plates on me, which will be nice to see. So all these things will be quite interesting to see how it works in the game, and it's one of my most favorite features because there can be some quite interesting plays, and also allows you to plan out your game more. Just being able to have like plan ahead, like, oh, I really want to do a gas play, or gas is going to be really hard on me. Let's pick up some extra stims and let's drop, I don't know, extra ammo. It's late game. I don't need more ammo. I want to need more health. So let's put some more stims. Self-revives, by the way, also will take up a backpack slot. So if you want to self-revive, it might actually be a bit of a sacrifice to have a self-revive. So all this stuff will be quite interesting. There's also, to my understanding, you can put a weapon in your backpacks. I don't know if there's multiple different types of backpacks. I saw someone have a weapon in a backpack, which I don't know if this means a backpack will have a weapon slot, or if you put a weapon in a backpack it will take up like 2 item slots. I do not know, but what I do know is that you can drag and drop a weapon from your backpack and maybe swap it out for a pistol. So I can have an AR, SMG, and a pistol. So if I'm fighting underwater, drag and drop my pistol down quickly. Now I can fight underwater. Oh, I see a vehicle, drag and drop my RPG down. Let's shoot the RPG. But now let's get into the next category. The new looting system. I call it the logic looting system because it just adds a bit of logic to it. So you no longer have glowing, levitating stuff on the ground. It's now on the ground, actually lays down, and it's got a nice highlight to it, so you see it, and if you look at it, it'll also pop up with what you're looking at, and you can pick it up. But like ammo and stuff, and grenades, and your weapons can be found on the grounds, on tables, on shelves, as you can see here. But there's also some more logic side of it, like your cash register. You go into a store, there's a cash register, you open it up, you take the cash. That adds a bit more to your regame. Your teammates are dead. You need cash to revive them at a shop. What do? You go to the shopping mall. Go find us some cash registers. Let's pick up some cash and let's go buy something. Or there's the other thing is medical supplies. If you go to a bathroom inside a building, in like a house or in like an office, there's like the medical cabinet you open up and you can find self-revives and stims as seen in this photo. They call it the first aid kit. It's just on the wall. You open it up, you can find our self-revives and some stims, which will be awesome for late game. Like you go in, oh, I need some stims for late game, or I need something to help survive in the gas. Let's go get some stims, go get a self-revive. So all this stuff will be quite interesting. Also, to go back on the backpack thing, you can now also drop lethals and tacticals, so that'll be quite useful for your teammates if you want stuff like that. But let's get into the next category, the buy station. The new buy station has a bit of a different UI and also has a bit more stuff on it, but otherwise, loadouts, this also applies to loadouts, it will be quite different. So, if you notice, you can still buy people back. There's now different categories in the buy station. There's the buy weapons, which was disabled in all the beta gameplay, but I think it allows you to buy individual weapons from your loadout, so you don't get your perks, you don't get your tacticals or lethals, but you do get a single weapon from your loadout, which I think will be a bit cheaper than like your 10 grand loadout that it is today, but it just allows you to buy individual weapons, which is a bit different. And there's also an upgrade weapon category, which is completely new. Which I think it does is when you have a blue weapon, let's say you've got a blue M4A1, and you go up there and you click upgrade weapon, it's now a purple M4A1. You can upgrade that again to a legendary M4A1. Just allows you to upgrade your weapons if you like the weapon you're using, something a bit better. Your buy gear categories with you got your UAVs, your field upgrades, your extra plates. That's your buy gear category. But loadouts will be a lot less prominent in this new Warzone game because you have to buy individual guns. But there is a second way to get your loadout. From my understanding, they made some comments all in the stream, the big Call of Duty stream, that if you loot and kill a stronghold, you can get a stronghold key, which we know stronghold keys exist because I saw it on a player in the game or in the Warzone testing. And you have to go to either a special room or a special box somewhere, and you have to use that key, and it'll give you a loadout weapon, to my understanding. Or you go to a shop with the key, and that allows you to buy a loadout weapon. So this will make it a lot harder to get loadouts, and therefore make loadouts a lot less prominent in Warzone. Maybe to the point where you don't even have to level up that many guns. It'll be quite interesting. I think that the public won't really like that change, how there's way less loadouts in the game, and I think they'll likely add loadout drop markers or actually make it easier to get your loadout weapon in Warzone because of all the time and effort people put in to unlocking and leveling up those guns. Let's get into the third and final category, the catch-all. So this, of course, I'm just going to talk about some small commonly asked questions. For example, the map. So there is a train. Some just fun little fact is that there is a train going around the map, sort of like an Apex, or like what we saw in Black Ops Verdansk. But this allows you to just climb on the tree and move around. It's just a train. It's there. Another thing is vehicles. When you're in a passenger seat of the vehicle, you're no longer forced just to shoot through the windows. You can now pop your head out the windows to shoot, or you can climb onto the roof and, like Wild West style, climb onto the back of the train just by jumping on the roof, then boarding the train or something like that. Vehicles are a lot more destructible now. Let's say you're in your hatchback and you're driving along, someone can shoot off your mirror, or they can shoot the tire of your vehicle, or you have your door open and you hit something, and then the door falls off, stuff like that. There is also gas now in the game, which is really stupid. Gas in your vehicle goes down faster than I can count. It just steady streams straight down into the ground, and you have to actually go to a gas station to refuel your vehicle, which is really dumb. You have to be in the proximity of a gas bar. But what I find most hilarious and one of the stupidest things in the game, in this new Warzone 2 game, is helicopters also have gas. And so you have to go to a gas bar and refill your your helicopter with gasoline. You have to fly your helicopter to a gas station and get it just close enough for it to refuel, just really close. And so it'll be hilarious. Well, I also wonder if gas things can explode, if you can explode the gas bar so no one can refuel their vehicle. I think would be hilarious. Like one propeller later, the entire gas bar goes up in a massive explosion, alerting the entire map, which I think will be really funny. Well, that's it. That's all. I hope you guys all have a good day.